What kind of quality can you expect at the Batumi Tower? What projects has the same operating company already completed? Today, I want to give you an overview so that you understand exactly which category, so to speak, the operator falls into. So stay tuned and make sure to watch the video all the way to the end. Hello and welcome. My name is Florian Wilk. I am the managing director of CMC in Cyprus and have also been active in Georgia for 8 years. And in Batumi, there is this new flagship project in the most central location, the Batumi Tower. And we actually still have a few remaining units available where we've locked in last year's prices. That means you can benefit from the pre-sale, from the pre-launch prices. Since this ambitious project is currently still under active construction, I would like to take this opportunity to show you exactly what the developer already has to offer in terms of features and amenities. To give you a better look at these details, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you right now. I would like to take a moment to show you the impressive Radisson Collection Hotel, situated in the beautiful region of Tsinandali, Georgia. This property is positioned firmly within the premium to high-end luxury segment, offering a truly sophisticated experience. Just take a look at the unique and striking architecture on display here. It really is something quite extraordinary and special. However, of course, this is not a prime location. This is really a mountain location, a retreat, so to speak. If you want to let your soul unwind in the mountains and simply enjoy nature, this is the place. But it's a great hotel, in my opinion. I have to admit, I haven't been there yet. Yeah, but it looks really, really stylish. I would say it's about a 4.5-star standard. That's my estimate, without meaning that as a judgment. So that's just one of several hotels. They actually operate a few hotels. But in Georgia, they're always in a very high category. And I find that particularly interesting. For example, there's the Radisson Blu Iveria, which is in the center of Tbilisi. So it's in an absolutely premium location, very, very central. Unfortunately, the internet here in Southeast Asia isn't always perfect, so things don't go quite as quickly. And then we have the Telegraph, so here as well. It's actually somewhat comparable to Batumi. There's also the Radisson Blu there, and then directly across from it is the Batumi Tower. Here, it's the Telegraph Hotel. And I have to say, it's truly an extremely beautiful place. 5 stars, of course, and very well rated. A 4.6 rating, I think that's definitely impressive. And here, let me show you this Telegraph Hotel. Here you have a variety of room categories, including a junior club suite with 63 square meters, or even the grand club suite with 95 square meters. The overall style is very minimalist and clean, with a bit of an industrial touch added in, I think. Ultimately, it's just a matter of personal taste and preference. And here there's even a grand terrace club suite with 86 square meters and a huge terrace. That's definitely something very exclusive. So I would also say that in all of Tbilisi, a city with, after all, 1.4 million inhabitants, this might be the best hotel, or at least one of the top 3. So it's absolutely central in terms of location, but also in terms of quality and luxury. It's really, really exceptional. Here there's even the presidential suite with an impressive 260 square meters. Yes, that one certainly doesn't get booked every day, not bad, but it starts with the classic rooms. Those are about 30 square meters, maybe just a little bit bigger, actually a bit larger than the rooms in Batumi, but still very, very similar overall. In Batumi, you still have a balcony, which is missing here. And that's the standard category, of course, available as a double bed and as a twin room variant, that's clear. And then you also have something else here, the deluxe variant with 41 square meters. So in my personal opinion, this is really very, very stylish and exceptionally high quality. And you can clearly see that the operator truly knows exactly how to run luxury hotels, that he is definitely more than capable and has proven multiple times over that he consistently brings these complex projects to a successful completion. and that they are also of a very, very high quality. The quality is executed accordingly. And when I think about it here, that we're talking about less than 4,000 US dollars per square meter in Batumi when it comes to the investment, then that's already exceptionally good, both for the location, but of course also here when you see what a renowned group is operating this with really, you have to say, top references in the field of hospitality. So you can see here everything really is top notch, also when it comes to gastronomy, etc. There truly and honestly are absolutely no wishes left unfulfilled. Truly quite a great quality, both in terms of the location. So you have to say that. It really is the case here. These are always prime locations. But also when it comes to the hospitality offering and the construction quality. And we're actually talking here, after all, we're talking about February. So that's, of course, also a tip, right? High season from 460 lari, so about 350 euros. I think that's an attractive price for guests, but also for investors. Attractive enough. And Batumi is quite similar in that regard. Check out my other video on that as well. I once compared how the prices are at the top 3, 4, 5-star hotels in Batumi. There isn't much competition in this segment. That's advantageous. It's actually not very crowded. That makes it all the more in demand, of course. And here as well. It must be said very clearly, this location in Batumi cannot be duplicated. And that's similar to the Telegraph Hotel here or the Radisson Blu Hotel as well. These are locations that simply won't exist like this again. This is Tbilisi now, of course, but in Batumi it's very, very similar. Maybe even more striking because there I have the seafront. Ultimately, the promenade is right on the Black Sea as an interface to the old town. And that is truly the absolute prime spot. Plot of land. If you're interested in getting more information or taking a closer look at the project in Batumi, then please feel free to get in touch with me. You'll find a link below this video where you can sign up for a free initial consultation. And then we can discuss further details accordingly. We can go over more information and see if this is interesting for you. According to my calculations, the rental yield in the worst case scenario is 12% per annum, which is, in my opinion, highly attractive and could potentially increase up to 16 or 18%, depending on the overnight rates and the occupancy rate you calculate with. Of course, it's better to calculate a bit more conservatively with 12%. That's already a very, very conservative estimate, and then you can be pleased if it turns out to be a bit more. But in my opinion, the 12% is definitely achievable. It would really take something extraordinary for that not to be reached, so to speak. Yes, because in Batumi, you simply have let's say, a limitation when it comes to these 5-star hotels. There is very healthy demand, especially from May to September. In September, the demand is enormous. Room prices are accordingly quite high as well, up to $300, $360 per night. And I'm always talking about the simplest category here. Yes, suites, etc. Of course, those are in a different category, no question. And we must not forget a casino complex is being built here, the largest casino complex in the entire region. And that is, of course, an absolute flagship project. So if you have the vision for it and understand where we will be with this project in 3 to 4 years, and that this will be the new landmark, the new flagship, so to speak, of Batumi, then I think you get a pretty good idea of just how attractive this investment really is. Of course, we are outside the EU. The investment is in US dollars. That too can make sense to invest in a different currency. One must not forget we have a country that is very, very stable when it comes to property rights. We have stable tax framework conditions. Only 5% tax is levied on these rental incomes in the tourism sector. And we have a very advantageous double taxation agreement with Germany, for example. And as the name suggests, this is generally intended to avoid double taxation. You can actually invest here starting from $112,000 to $114,000 per unit. So that's where it actually begins. And if you imagine an average occupancy of approximately 60% and an average room price in Batumi of possibly $150, maybe even $180 per night, and with a substantial 60% payout directly to the investors, and the remaining 40% portion going to the operator for administrative overhead, ongoing energy costs, and other expenses, then it's an incredibly attractive and lucrative opportunity for everyone involved. And then you actually arrive at these, by European standards, quite unusual returns. How can this be explained? From my point of view, it's quite clear. We're simply in a growth market here. We're in a country that is still developing, that is experiencing an upswing with 5 to 6% economic growth per year. And that's simply not comparable to Central Europe or the EU in general. Such growth rates are simply unthinkable in the current situation there. So you take a look at it. In my opinion, it's definitely worth taking a closer look at. There's also an attractive payment plan. You pay 20% upfront and the rest in 48 interest-free monthly installments. So it's definitely doable, I think, and simply incredibly attractive. You just have to understand the full set of facts. Also take your time to have a good look at the project itself. This is a project by a star architect from Japan who is internationally renowned. I've also made a video about that. Take your time to watch it. Yes. So I would say thank you very much for now and enjoy your investment. Feel free to secure one of the last remaining units. I wish you all the best and say see you soon, your Florian Wild.